My name is Riley Quinn, and the last time I saw my parents before this morning, I was standing barefoot in the rain, holding a plastic bag of clothes while my father locked the front door behind me. That was 22 years ago. Today he's sitting across from me in a courtroom wearing the same watch he used to check when he wanted me gone. The cameras flash every few seconds. My mother dabs her eyes with a handkerchief like she's in some tragic play, the good mother begging for reconciliation. I almost laugh. They came here to sue me for the company I built after they threw me out for being pregnant at 17. The judge hasn't even spoken yet, but I can already hear the past humming in the background. The click of that deadbolt, the rain hitting the pavement, the way my mother's perfume clung to my sweater long after she turned away. They think I'm the same girl who begged them to listen, but I'm not. I lean back in my chair, smooth the edge of my blazer, and meet my father's eyes. He looks at me like he's seeing a ghost. Maybe he is. The daughter he buried in shame didn't survive that night. The woman sitting here did. When the clerk asks for my name, I speak clearly into the microphone. Riley Quinn, defendant. The word defendant tastes strange, almost amusing. Because for once I'm not defending anything. I'm here to finish something. He blinks, uneasy. My mother whispers his name. And in that small tremor between them, I realize the truth. They didn't come for money. They came because they finally remembered what they lost, and I've been waiting 22 years for them to remember. That night, Seattle's sky looked like wet steel. Streetlights blurred through the rain, the world flickering between cleansing and drowning. In the kitchen, I held a plastic test, 2 pink lines. "I'm pregnant," I whispered. Dad looked up slowly. "You're 17, Riley. Do you know what you've done?" Mom set down her wine. "You've humiliated this family." No one asked if I was scared. Dad slid a paper forward. "Sign this. Emancipation form. You want adult choices? Live with them." 10 minutes later, my suitcase hit the floor. When I reached for our family photo, Mom turned it face down. Outside, rain cut through my clothes. I walked toward the bus stop called Blake Voicemail. The next day, his parents' lawyer wrote, "Do not contact him again." That's when I learned how easy it is to be erased. 3 nights on a grocery store bench, hungry, feverish, whispering to the child inside me, "I'm sorry. I'll find a way." Before passing out, I promised, "You'll regret this." That night, I stopped being their daughter. When I woke, a woman's voice said, "You'll catch your death out here." I was in a car that smelled of coffee and rain. "Drink this," she said. "You're safe." Her name was Margot Hale. She'd found me behind the grocery store and wrapped me in her coat like I mattered. At the hospital, the doctor said softly, "The baby didn't make it." I just stared at the ceiling. Margot stood nearby. "You can stay at my place. You look like you need a bed and someone to yell at you about eating." Her place was Hale's Diner in Tacoma. Tiny apartment upstairs, warmth everywhere. When I asked why she helped, she said, "Someone helped me once. You can pay me back by not dying on my property." I stayed. Washed dishes, wiped tables, breathed again. Margot taught me to read invoices, track costs, negotiate. "If you want to be taken seriously," she said, "learn the math before the smile." One night she asked, "What will you do with all that anger I don't know?" "Then don't waste it. Anger's a tool, not a curse." She handed me a notebook. "Write what you want." It stayed blank for days. Then I wrote, "I will build something no one can take from me." She pushed me to finish my GED and study business. "You've already survived the hardest part. Now learn how to win." When I got my first paycheck, I stood outside watching sunrise spill gold across the lot. I thought of my parents and whispered, "Good. Stay that way." For the first time since the rain, silence felt like freedom, a space to rebuild and begin again. By the end of my first winter in Tacoma, I knew the diner's rhythm like a hymn, mornings of butter and coffee, nights of bleach and fatigue. Each shift made me less invisible. Margot treated the diner like it breathed. "Feed her, and she'll feed you," she'd say. I studied how she faced men who underestimated her and never lost control. One night she asked, "Ever think about running a place like this?" I laughed. "I can barely keep up with dishes." "Dishes teach discipline," she said. The rest is math and nerve. She taught me both costs, margins, payroll until midnight. Her belief built me back up. By 20, I'd saved enough for night classes, business, accounting, marketing. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave me power. Margot opened a second diner and made me manager. Good, she said. Now you'll learn what failure costs. Through her, I met Daniel Cross, a lawyer. He looked at my emancipation papers. They really signed away guardianship, he said. I know. Keep them safe. You'll need proof of who walked away. Later, Sophia Nguyen, an IT consultant, helped modernize our systems. When she saw my notebook, she asked, "What's your end game? I want to build something no one can take from me." "Then protect it," she said. "Information is armor." When Margot retired, she offered to sell me part of the business. I had no money. "You will," she said. "You already run it." I worked double shifts, got a loan, and turned the diner into Hale Line Hospitality, a system helping small motels and diners manage operations. When I bought my condo in Seattle, I didn't flinch at my last name. Quinn no longer meant shame, it meant ownership. Sometimes I drove past my parents' street, not to look back, but to see the light still burning. Proof I'd survived. Success didn't burst. It slipped in quietly, disguised as exhaustion that finally earned its keep. 10 years into Hale Line, I was living out of airports. 200 hotels ran our software. Investors called me the woman who made hospitality human again. Then came a magazine cover, Riley Quinn, the self-made visionary. I laughed. No one's self-made. We're built by what we survive. Days later, a letter arrived from my parents. "We regret the distance. Eli deserves to know his grandparents." Eli, my son, the one they'd disowned me for. Sophia read it and smirked. "They want in." That night I couldn't sleep. I opened a notebook, step 1. Let them believe they're winning. I wrote back polite. "It's been a long time. I'm open to a conversation." They called within days. My mother's voice trembled with rehearsed guilt. My father spoke like a press release. "Family is too precious to waste." "I agree," I said softly. "Let's take it slow." Sophia traced their searches, grandparent rights, inheritance, through adoption. They weren't reconnecting, they were strategizing. "Do we confront them?" she asked. "No," I said. "We record them." Daniel secured my assets, quietly tightening every legal thread. Every step they took, we were already 2 ahead. Then came Blake Turner, his voicemail. "Your parents reached out. Maybe it's time to talk for Eli's sake." At a cafe, he looked worn and nervous. "They just want peace," he said. I stirred my latte. "Then why are you recording this?" He froze. "I hope they're paying you well," I added. "It'll be their last check." That night, Sophia sent me a file titled "The Web Messages" between Blake and my parents planning a public reunion to exploit the grandson angle. I looked at my reflection. No anger this time, only resolve. They'd forgotten one rule: you can't play a game someone else invented. The lawsuit came on a Tuesday, printed on heavy ivory paper, polished pretending to be pure. The names beneath the letterhead said it all: Charles and Vivian Quinn. They were suing for grandparent visitation rights and emotional damages, claiming my story had defamed them. In truth, they wanted access to Eli and a share of Hale Line through something they called restorative family equity. I read it once, steady as a surgeon before the cut. Then I called Daniel. "They're leveraging sympathy law," he said. "If we fight too hard, they'll turn public opinion." "Then we won't fight," I said. "We'll let them hang themselves." For weeks, I became the woman they expected, soft, remorseful, media-friendly. I met them publicly, let cameras catch the reunion. Sophia tracked their encrypted chats with Blake, desperate now for money. When the hearing came, reporters swarmed the Seattle courthouse. My parents walked in, arm in arm, picture perfect. I wore gray, plain, precise. Judge Marion Hales presided. My mother wept on cue. "We just want our grandson. We're trying to heal." Daniel stood. "Your Honor, what they want is control through manipulation and fraud." Sophia tapped her laptop and the screen lit up. Subject leverage through Eli. Charles Quinn to Blake Turner. "Mention the boy often. She's sentimental. Once she softens, we'll file. If she resists, push defamation." Gasps filled the courtroom. Then came proof of a wire transfer consulting fee sent to Blake the same day we met. Daniel turned to me. "Ms. Quinn." I stood. When I was 17, they threw me out for being pregnant. I lost that baby alone behind a grocery store. I built my life from nothing. Now they return not for love, but for ownership. I looked at them. "You want to meet my son, fine, but he's not yours. He's mine because I built everything you abandoned." Silence. Even the judge stopped writing. Daniel handed her the emancipation papers signed by both Charles and Vivian relinquishing guardianship in 2003. Judge Hales adjusted her glasses. "This nullifies your claims." Case dismissed. Evidence referred for fraud investigation. The gavel fell. Reporters surged. My father stammered wryly. I met his eyes. "You don't get to rewrite this story." As officers led them away, I stepped outside. The sky had cleared, and for the first time since I was 17, the rain didn't touch me. The news spread fast. Estranged parents. Lou's case against tech CEO daughter. Headlines made me sound like a hero who defeated her family. I didn't feel triumphant, just emptied out. Daniel called. "You did it." "No," I said. "We did what was necessary. Revenge is quick. Justice takes time." I ignored the interview requests and flowers from investors. I didn't want to inspire anyone. I just wanted silent space to breathe without proving I'd survived. One evening I drove to Tacoma. Margot's old diner still stood, its neon heart flickering. She'd passed the year before, leaving me her shares journals and a note. "Use what you built to open doors for girls like you used to be." So I did. 6 months later, the Hale Line Foundation opened housing education mentorship for young women from foster care or unstable homes. I followed Margot's model tough love structure dignity. When a girl arrived shivering and lost, I gave her a job washing dishes and said, "You can pay me back by surviving." Eli, 17, now built the foundation's website. At the opening, he stood beside me, suit slightly too big. When asked what inspired him, he said, "My mom taught me family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shows up." I saved my tears for later after the crowd left. Daniel joined me outside under the faint rain. "Most people don't know what to do after they win," he said. "I'm still figuring it out." He smiled. "That's the point. You keep building." Driving home, I stopped at the same bus station where my life once fell apart. The bench was still there, rusted and humming under a flickering light. A girl sat there clutching a backpack. "Are you okay?" I asked. She shook her head. I gave her my coat. "There's a diner 2 blocks down. Tell them Riley sent you." I didn't wait for thanks. The rain was soft now. For years I thought power meant control. Now I know it's standing where you once fell and making sure no one else falls alone. The news spread quickly. Estranged parents. Lou's case. Against tech CEO daughter. They called me an avenging saint. I didn't feel victorious, just empty. Daniel called. "You did it." "No," I said. "We did what was necessary. Revenge is fast. Justice takes patience." I turned down interviews and flowers. I didn't want applause, just silence room to breathe without proving strength. A few weeks later, I drove to Tacoma. Margot's diner still glowed, its neon heartbeat flickering. She'd passed away, leaving me her shares and a note, "Use what you built to help girls like you used to be." So I did. 6 months later, the Hale Line Foundation opened, offering housing education and mentorship to girls from foster care or broken homes. The first one arrived, shivering, eyes wary. I gave her a job and said, "You can pay me back by surviving." Eli, 17, now built our website. At the launch, he said, "My mom taught me family isn't who shares your blood, it's who shows up." That night, Daniel found me outside beneath the rain. "Most people don't know what to do after they win," he said. "I'm still learning." He smiled. "Good. Keep building." On the drive home, I stopped at the same bus stop where my life once fell apart. A girl sat there clutching a backpack. "Are you okay?" I asked. She shook her head. I placed my coat around her shoulders. "There's a diner 2 blocks down. Tell them Riley sent you." I didn't wait for thanks. The rain felt softer now. I once thought power meant control. Now I know it's standing where you once fell, making sure no one else falls there again.